Rhett's been a musician around the area. He's played many, many years, has a good career, has some good songs, great talent. Rhett, how you been?
I'm good, buddy. Good to be here.
Cool. Well, tell us what's been going on, man.
Just from Prairieville, Baton Rouge area. I moved, lived in Nashville for 11 years and moved back to the area Thanksgiving of 2017. Been back a little over a year now. And just doing a lot of solo acoustic shows as well as a New Orleans-based party band called Sugar Shaker. And that is what occupies most of my time these days.
Cool. How'd you get with those guys?
Not long after I got back, the bass player that was putting the band together, Alan Maxwell, we played together a few times over the years, and he was getting to a situation where he wanted to put a band back together. He's had a couple other bands that he had worked with and done Mojo, the big New Orleans party band. Yeah. And he reached out to me not long after I got home. Some mutual friends told him that I was back in town, and so we talked about it, and then it took several months, but in August of 2018, we got it going. And so it's rolling right along now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You've been up in Nashville for a while.
Yeah. Lived there for 11 years.
What's the scene like in Nashville compared to G-Town?
A little bit more music going on, but no, it was great. I really enjoyed my Nashville experience and time there. It was really starting to boom. There was a lot of growth happening in the city overall, and I just found it. Even a lot of people that had been in California, stuff. People, big names. You hear about people like like Tommy Shaw from Styx has a place out there. Kip Winger, lives out there. I think I even heard Robert Plant might have, gotten a place out there. So, but yeah, it was just great. It's not a super big town, a little big town like the band. It really is.
Yeah.
And I was real fortunate. I went in September of 2006. I moved up there with not a lot of money in the bank and just, only a couple of contacts, and ended up within about a month of being there, landed a pretty prominent ballroom house gig, and that was pretty much my career there, with a few other things that I did around town, playing in another entertainment company with some like Nashville all-stars, if you will, that I ended up getting towards the end of my tenure there. But no, it was great. Really nice to be submersed in a songwriting culture, and I went there to get better as a songwriter, and I feel like I did accomplish that, and better as a musician, and all the way around. It was just a great experience. And if you've never been, I highly recommend going to visit it if you're a music lover.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. You get to play with any interesting people while you were up there, are you?
Yeah, they had some, the bar I played at is called Losers, which sounds funny. I know they have losers and winners, but it's done real well. One of the owners is a guy named Irv Woolsey, who's managed George Strait's whole career, and he and Steve Ford are the owners, and just by nature of who they are, they have a lot of really cool friends and people that have come in. It's kind of like a perfect storm of a place. It's 2 blocks from Vanderbilt. It's just a couple blocks from Music Row. 5 minutes from downtown, so it's nestled right in a good spot in the middle of everything. But just tons of, the list goes on and on. The people that have come through that I've played with over the years. Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Kenny Chesney, All One Night, Darius Rucker, Toby Keith, Chris Young.
Toby Keith.
Oh, yeah.
That had to be a trip, huh?
Oh, yeah. It was great. Toby's a great guy. And, probably the one that I kind of like to say was maybe the pinnacle of it all. Like all at one time, there was a project that Zach Brown band did with Dave Grohl, and they did the CMAs one year, and we were playing that night after the CMAs. They played on the CMAs, and then they all came in afterward because Zach had Southern Ground Studios, which is right up the block around the corner, and Zach had been in a few times, and we had our band jamming with, it was Zach Brown band with Dave Grohl on drums and O'Teal Burbridge on bass from the Allman Brothers band. Oh, wow. Just all at one time on stage, and it was just insane. It was just, Yeah, that was really, really good. I got to play guitar and jam, right next to Dave Grohl. And then he got up off of that and ended up coming and played my guitar. So, yeah, that was a neat deal.
And how you wound up back down here in Louisiana?
Man, I had done, like I said, just, so many years up there, and I loved it. But I just, I decided I was at a point where I didn't feel like there was much growth happening personally and professionally. Even though I was getting a lot of exposure, I had done it for a long time, and it's a bit of a grind. That you don't get a lot of breaks on the gigs up there, and really none at all on a lot of the house gigs. 4-hour gigs, and your break is like, hey, run to the bathroom, somebody sing a song, and you get back on stage. And so a bit of a grind there, and just. Nothing happening on the personal side. I had a girlfriend that passed from cancer while I was there. That's what I mean. And, which was just a tough experience to deal with. And so, but I mean, since her passing, a number of years had passed. It's been it'll be 7 years next month. Yeah. And just nothing was happening on the personal side for me. As far as life, I didn't have any family there. And just wanted to get back to the things that meant a little bit more in life. I mean, man, you could still write songs. I still know a ton of people in town. And just was ready to do that. I didn't feel like going drive around the country to try to find that kind of market as a songwriter. And it didn't make sense to just go play at other bars in town. Yeah. So I just felt like that would have been a lateral move. So I'm like, man, you know what? I don't look at it as closing the door on Nashville. I'm like, I'm going to relocate home base to get back to my folks, and just the family stuff, and try to, get a personal life going, and still play music and hopefully write some songs and go when I can. And I still get some invites to go up there. It's not as easy to go these days, just because with the new band, that takes priority on the weekends. But when the situation arises, I go. And they also opened a location, a Losers Bar in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, which I played at a number of times.
Yeah, you were telling me.
And still have invites to go out there when I can. And they just opened a brand new location in Belize in Central America. Oh, wow. And so haven't been able to go there yet. I did get invited. But
you can get in line for that one.
Right. Hey, go to the beach and go play. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully, maybe we'll get to go do that at some point. But yeah, that's why I came home, just to focus on the other stuff that I thought was more important to me at this point in life.
Cool. And you got any shows coming up with Sugar Shake soon? Or?
Yeah. The band plays pretty regularly on the weekends and trying to expand more all the time. We're doing, I know like Park Place out in Gonzales, the home turf. Golden Park Place. Ooh, you been there? You remember that?
Dirt.
Right? It's still going. Still like the Energizer Bunny, still going. Wow. And yeah, we're doing kind of a Gulf South circuit, and it was a good start. Like I said, being the band's only 7 months old. Yeah. We're doing like the Golden Nugget Casino in Lake Charles. They got a couple bars there, the Rush Lounge and Blue Martini. And here in Lafayette, we do Grouse Room. We're doing that about once every 6 weeks or so. Yeah. Treasure Chest Casino and Rock and Bowl in New Orleans. And like Hard Rock Casino and Island View Casino in Biloxi. So we got a nice little thing kind of carved out for a good start. Yeah. And like I said, trying to pick up more stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. Whether it be corporate, weddings, private, casinos, festivals. I'm looking forward to getting on some of those. Yeah. There's a lot.
I'm going to have a list in the subscription, in the video below, and have where Rhett's playing. He sent it to me, and we'll post that. Not only his band, but his solo act. Yeah. And you play with different people with your solo act?
Yeah, I do. Whatever the situation calls for. A lot of times, just for the restaurant or daiquiri shop gigs, I'll do by myself. But sometimes folks will want to have like a percussion, so my brother Thad will come play with me, or if he's busy, I'll get somebody else to come in, and just whoever calls, I love making music, and if I'm available, somebody needs another singer, they want another piece, I'll get them a call. You have to come jam with me sometime, man.
We can do that.
Yeah,
we can do that
for sure.
On that, we're gonna take a short pause. Y'all hang out like a hair and a biscuit. We'll be right back. Here's a song from Rhett.
So you say you found someone you care all about, who makes life worth living each day. You don't want to lose her. You've got to hang on, but you don't quite know the way. Well, son, let me tell you, it ain't very hard. The answer is right in plain view. It ain't in the money or the big fancy cars. It's all in the little things you do. Give her moonlight and roses, things from the heart. It's all that it takes to make it right from the start. 'Cause after all, she's a lady you place no one above. Give her moonlight, roses and love. Now you say you got problems in your house on the hill, and you know it won't be very long before she finds someone who treats her just right. You don't know where you went wrong. All that she asks for is all that you give, and gladly do so with a smile. But you got to show her you want her and need her more than just once in a while. Oh, give her moonlight roses, things from the heart. It's all that it takes to make it right from the start. 'Cause after all, she's the lady you place no one above. Give her moonlight, roses and love. Give her moonlight and roses, things from the heart. That's all that it takes to make it right from the start. 'Cause after all, she's the lady you place no one above. Give her moonlight, roses and love. Oh, after all, she's the lady you place no one above. Give her moonlight, roses and love.
And we're back. That was Rhett Glindmeyer. So Rhett, you and I were talking earlier about the music scene, or how the music has changed and how technology has changed music. And we're going to have some episodes about technology on the show. And we recently met with Dwayne Dupre from VRS in Baton Rouge, who does a lot of stuff. That was an interesting technology episode, and we talked about touched on some of those things. But give me your insight on what's happening out there from the musician perspective, playing live.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I don't want to be the harbinger of doom, and I love live music. I still do it, and I hope to carry the torch as long as I can, and I hope it survives as long as it can. And excuse me, I believe it will.
Okay.
But from in Nashville, it's really thriving. I think because people come there, it's so centralized, and that's
what they're there for.
That's what they're for. Because I find overall, in general, I like to say, like it or not, the world is going more and more digital, and like I said, jobs, that have been, getting replaced, manpower for years back now, factory jobs that have been replaced by machines, it's finally catching up to a lot of the music industry. Yeah. At least, on the live side of things, even most of the live recordings you hear these days, everything is plugged into Pro Tools or whatever operating system they're using. All right, and even the best players in the world, the kick drum might be moved to it's quantized, and everything is made to be exact and perfect. So, and I think just with generations of kids growing up expecting to hear things that are programmed in perfection, it's some of the authenticity or the subtle nuances of what makes something live and real, kind of get lost or overlooked, I find. And there's still many people that appreciate it, and thank goodness they do. But I have heard from younger generation, people and musicians in their early 20s saying they would go out and trying to get their friends to come see a live band. They just much rather go hear a DJ, or even I hear a lot of them are staying in and just gaming, and the whole world is on your phone now, so when you can look up just about anything you want and watch it on YouTube or whatever on your phone, the art of going to see something live is, I think, being lost. And I, like you said, you find that it might be coming back, and I hope so, because even like in the nightclubs, I would say a lot of bars, there's not as many ballrooms, at least at that level, for bands to play anymore that are really drawing large numbers of people. There's still it's becoming more niche, I find. Yeah. And just the days of places that used to put in 300, 400, 500 people, they're lucky if they break 150 and 200 people coming in. Yeah. And so I'm seeing that, like me, the band, it would be great if the band could be playing, as much as it could, but we do a few handful of clubs that are, make it worth our while to go play and are still doing all right. But by and large, we're really trying to do more of the private corporate work and stuff like that, because that's where the money's better. And consequently, I'm doing more of the solo acoustic stuff because I can make more money. That you kind of tap out at how much you can make on that club level, and there's a lot more of the smaller solo duo thing, availability of gigs to be able to do than there is for a full blown band to go out and make some legit.
I find a lot of clubs are having to add other things to draw people in, and they're not really clubs like you and I grew up in.
Right.
We're just hardcore drinking, smoking clubs.
Right.
There's so many laws today too.
Yeah.
You can't smoke in there, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
I
hated the smoke in the bar rooms when I played. I hated the smoke.
I played many years in it, and I got accustomed to it, but I preferably, it's nice to play in a cleaner air environment.
But, like you mentioned, rock and bowl, that's another one. You got a restaurant, and you have bowling alleys, and the band plays in the middle of a bunch of bowling alleys.
Right.
You can still, have adult beverages, but kids can come too. It's kind of a,
great concept. You need more of that kind of thing, as opposed to just a honky tonk that's got a live band where, maybe the chicken wire up or something.
Oh yeah. I saw a great meme on I think it was Facebook or something the other day we were talking about earlier. Was a guy standing in front of a laptop. It was a picture from the back of the stage, and he has his hands raised in the air, and there's this big crowd out there, and the caption was, hey, come watch me and my laptop.
Me and my computer are crushing it.
But a lot of that stuff has technology, and I work in technology, and I work with a lot of that stuff, and it has taken a lot of, in some areas, it's taken a lot of things away.
Yeah,
it's helped, and it's helped develop some areas.
Certainly,
But I always say this in schools I work with, in schools that I do work for. I always say technology is good if it's used as a tool, and that's what it is. It's a tool. And just like a plumber uses a pipe wrench, or a mechanic uses a lift, to get under a car. Technology is a tool to accomplish a task, Yeah. And some processes it's replaced and made easier. But the funny thing about it, when we talk about the resurgence of music and instruments, is it is becoming more appealing, and I love to see this with younger kids, is to actually physically play an instrument.
Right.
And show them, because, playing a guitar, just by holding it a certain way, playing a certain way, muting the strings a certain way, you can do that, but it can't be emulated. Some people claim it can be emulated on a computer, but not really.
Right.
You can record it and manipulate it, but, it's not going to emulate it.
It lacks what's
perfectly.
real.
It lacks that touch. But in that also is the resurgence of vinyl records.
Yeah.
That's coming back. And people are just like, oh, this is cool sound. So, to that end, when I have an opportunity and I speak to a younger person about, oh, this vinyl stuff is awesome, man.
Right.
And you laugh, and you show them a cassette and they don't even know what it is, But like, this vinyl stuff is cool. And I was like, well, what really makes that old vinyl stuff really groovy is those people really could play and sing.
Right.
They didn't use auto-tune. They didn't have all that stuff.
What you hear is what
they
was,
had
what
the
was
talent,
done. Right.
Remember the old commercial? Is it live or is it Memorex?
Right. Yeah.
And that sparks them, because they start a conversation and we start talking about it, and we break out instruments and say, hey, play this, check this out, check that,
Right.
And it starts a discovery, Plus, it's been proven in the education industry that it helps math and science scores if you're learning to play musical instruments.
Right.
And I really would like to see, I saw it die off in high schools, where we went to school at East Ascension.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how huge that band used to be.
Right.
And it's not quite as big, and it's more, and not just those schools, but you'll go see other schools that size, 4A, 5A schools that don't have a band, or they have a band with, 15 people in it, or 20 people in it, instead of a band that takes 3 buses to get to a football game. It is, more buses than the football team to get to a game to be in a band. And that's part of the entertainment and show at halftime, which is what the show is about, entertainment. And there's different forms of entertainment, cooking and that type of stuff. We talked about that earlier, when you entertain people. Corey said in a couple of episodes, and by the way, Corey's not here because he's busy.
Miss you, Corey.
It's his birthday weekend, but that's not why. Corey does a lot of the show editing. He does just about all of it,
Right.
And he's snowed under with some other stuff and some other projects.
Right.
But that was one thing he said. Cooking is a form of entertainment, especially in Louisiana.
Certainly.
You have guests over and entertain. And cooking was a big part of that type of thing. I believe the instrument thing is coming back around because if you're going to go be a DJ in a closet or in your bedroom, well, anybody can do that.
Right.
Any Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street can go buy a computer program and hook up a couple little gadgets, and you can sit in there and play around all day long. But to sit down and discover, how to do something, or to play off of, if you and I picked up a guitar right now and started playing together and playing an instrument and learning, licks and
that
things.
Dynamic
and
that happens between,
that association and that relationship, which is what we start to miss today with all of these.
That's we were talking about that just because on the most basic level, when kids can go play Guitar Hero and hit a button that does a lick. When there's, it's just not the same as, like you said, when you got to sit down and work it all out and just what people have to entertain themselves at home, and there's so many options that we didn't have growing up, and I think that's kind of contributed to the downside. But like you said, you can only program. I guess there are holograms out there like Michael Jackson doing the dance at the one show in Vegas, but it lacks, like I said, the real. You and I could play the same lick, but your vibrato, we might do it a certain different way, and that's what gives everybody its own different uniqueness, if you will. And I do hope that it gets to continue on.
Yeah, and I tell young people all the time, like they'll say, "Oh, well, no, see, I can write a song," and it's like, "No, you didn't really write a song. You took bits and pieces of something somebody programmed in a computer and you stacked it. That's called editing.
Right.
You know, that's not writing a song.
Right.
Here's an instrument, write me a song.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, in certain different environments, like I'm always asked, you know, at one of the charter schools I work with, you know, where rap music is real prevalent, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you like rap music?" And I always say, "I like any music that makes musical sense.
Right.
If it doesn't make musical sense, no, I don't like it." You know, I think, and rap music can make musical sense if it's done right. But the rap music you and I grew up with today is not like the rap music
Back in the old days.
Back in the day was, you know, a lot of rap guys, and that's what we were having this conversation with some kids, and I said, well, back when I was young and rap was being developed, a lot, you know, those guys played instruments.
Right.
They didn't do loops, you know, when you heard, you know, the old hip hop, you know,
Right.
But they were really playing the bass.
Right.
and
Real
stuff
band
on that.
grooves going on and stuff.
I was like,
right.
these guys were on stage doing this stuff. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to loop it 10 times on the computer and then I'm going to start talking over the top of it, you know, type of thing.
Well, that's what I say. You know, if it's musical in nature, I give it a shot. It doesn't matter what it is. And it all has a right to exist, certainly, you know.
Yeah.
But as somebody that plays, you know, an instrument and sings, I tend towards music that does have a more melodic, truer nature, other than, you know, things like you said, it's just a repeated drum loop or something with some sounds that you found in a library. But some of it can be real creative, and you know, I agree totally. But it's just, you know, for my form of entertainment, I like the singer-songwriter stuff, and you know, stuff that took some real deal.
Well, I always point out to them too is, and we talk about live performances, you know, and it's true. We did a live Facebook feed the other day. Show we're working on with Sarah Russo, phenomenal singer. Sarah, she's awesome.
Got to hear it. Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
And so a buddy of mine that was here said, "Hey man, you know, you should get on Facebook Live." And I had a new internet connection here at the house, and we had some issues with dropouts. So I said, "Well, let's try it." So I just set it over there, and we were working on mixing the audio for that. And it was Sarah singing, you know, and I forget what it was. I woke up the next day and I was just blown away at how many views it had gotten on Facebook. And that type of thing, like you say, where people click on the phone and sit here and go, oh, okay, and see this live without actually going down there. But also tell, you know, kids that I speak to a lot is, you know, if we had a jazz trio sitting right here playing right now, and we started a Facebook stream. Oh yeah, it's cool. Check this out. You know, hey, watch us. You know, and it's cool. But there's a difference, and you know that there's a difference when you're sitting in the room listening to those guys play.
Certainly,
you miss a certain dynamic. You know, the connection not only in the music, but the personality of the people playing and the personality of the music that's being played.
The ambience of the room, just the whole, like so getting to witness it in person as opposed to. Through some other medium, you know. Well,
and you miss things, you know. Being a studio guy and having done a lot of recordings and all is the little nuances. And you know, at one point early in my recording career, you know, we were real adamant about, you know, if you were playing an acoustic guitar part, you know, and you would rake across the strings and make a little squeak. It was like, oh, okay, well, we got to go edit that squeak out. We got to, you know, EQ that down and all. And then. But you go back and listen to old records, you know, and you put some headphones on, you really crank them up, and you hearing people walking through and hear noises and creaks and stuff, you know, and the drum pedal squeaking when the guy's kicking a kick drum kind of thing. You know, today we would, you know, use Studio One by Personas, and we'd remove a lot of that stuff. We'd go and try and take that out, you know, but back then you just couldn't.
Right.
You know, I remember doing a session at my studio in Prairieville with Ricky Garrow, our old Solar Sounds place, and good bass player. But Paris Sanye came over, and I remember he and another guy, we were doing a tune they had put together. It was an instrumental song, I think, kind of jazz fusion thing. And we were having the same conversation, and I said, well, back in the old days, man, I said they used to capture a whole set of drums with like 3 microphones,
Right.
instead of a mic on every drum, 2 on the snare,
Right.
1 on the hi hat, all this. A 5-piece kit has 10 channels. Or
Sgt. Pepper's was done with 8 tracks.
Yeah. So I mean, and we were talking Parrish goes, well, let's do that. Let's do that. Kind of thing. And there's a lot to be said for that stuff.
Right.
Less is more kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's coming back around again. I'm seeing a lot of interest in that. Especially when you hear a young person go, well, I want that old sound. How do you do that? So there's only one way.
Real.
Yeah.
Real.
You just have to be real.
Right.
It can be emulated so far.
So yeah, right.
But, if you don't know how to really play and pull it together,
Right.
It's there. But
you can't fake vibe, man. You just can't, bro.
No. So tell us about your influences. Who influenced you early on?
Well, it's so hard. And gosh, there's so many. I'd say I'll give you like my top, I guess 5 or so in no particular, maybe more than that. But from the earliest days I remember growing up, the Eagles were always one of my favorite bands. That Best Of, the Blue album with the Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a staple vinyl at the house. And then, I had always heard the Beatles, but when they did that anthology and a bunch of players I liked that I respected growing up and watched, when I was going out and learning, they all said, man, if you like what we're about, the Beatles, so it's the Eagles, the Beatles, Prince. I'm a huge Prince fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's, one of the artists that I cover regularly and it probably draws the most requests and responses, when I do all the falsetto stuff like he does.
Yeah.
But, and then, just James Taylor, Sean Colvin, more modern, Amos Lee.
Yeah.
Gosh, and then, when we grew up around a lot of that New Orleans bleed over from all the horn bands, the swamp pop stuff, but also, that grew into listening to more advanced jazzy stuff like Tower of Power and Earth, Wind and Fire and things like that. So I've got, without trying to sound Louisiana cliche, it really is a gumbo of just all kinds of stuff. I played a year and a half, or so with Wayne Toops in the early 2000s. So I've done, the rock, Cajun, soul, country, R&B. And like I said,
all about gumbo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's probably my biggest ones, biggest influences, I would say, the ones I mentioned, and so many more, Sting, gosh.
Oh.
Just, ridiculous.
Killer. That one Sting album.
10 Summoner's Tale's got to be is that the one?
I can't think of the name of it. Oh, it's probably around.
That's the one with Fields of Gold and all that stuff on it. That's kind of one of the landmark one. They're all great, but that one and the following one that kind of lived in its shadow, but to me is equally as Mercury Falling.
That's the one I'm thinking. Mercury Falling.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
That was kind of like I liken it to like for those about to rock ACC following Back in Black or it's such a great record, but everybody 10 Summer's Tales was kind of the one that gets the benchmark award. And
some of those songs and like I remember seeing an interview with Sting that he talked about the guy interviewing him was talking about his album coming out, and he kind of jokingly said, well, it's like most records, it's got 1 or 2 good songs and everything else is just fillers, And I remember listening to that record that he was talking about, and I was like, he wasn't kidding,
Yeah.
But Mercury Falling, I think, was one of the first records that I heard that I just liked it through and through.
Yeah.
And it was one of those ones that the more you listen to it, it kind of grabbed you.
I listened to that one actually more than 10 Summer's Tales, and it really does. The whole Mercury Falling, it was about winter, and it has, you can kind of get that vibe about, in fact, Hounds of Winter is one of the songs on it, but they just a killer record.
I liked the musicianship and the variety of musicians he had on it, and it's like he really took his time and put that together.
Right.
And I like albums like that.
Certainly.
I don't like flash and
doing stuff. And writing songs and doing stuff in odd time signatures, but grooving it. Where it doesn't feel like odd time signature, even though it is. And that's a lot to do with the players. Vinnie Colaiuto's one of the greatest drummers in the world.
Oh yeah. So, and I like things. I like music behind that has I said a theme behind it or had meaning to it.
Right.
Has a story to tell.
Right.
You know, and that's what I like about
That's
a lot
depth.
of Louisiana music, and like
Yeah.
you say, the gumbo music we call it, because a lot of it is stories. There's tales behind those songs. It's
Right.
not just flash in the pan or what we used to call bubblegum rock. You know?
Right.
I think it's meaningless. You know, it's just a
Well, like country when we were younger, I mean, I didn't, because I was coming into my musical puberty in the '80s, if you will.
Yeah.
And and it was, and at the time it was a lot of flash on guitar, guys that could rip and sing really high.
Van Halen.
And, right. And I mean, and country had more of the chicken pick. It just wasn't, but it was more like 3-chord songs or so, 3 and 4-chord songs, and I didn't so much get it. But then when I got older, like you said, to me, obviously there's fluff in no matter what genre you listen to.
Yeah.
But the really good one, like I said, man, are really well. That's what I learned about songwriting is to really craft it well and to say something in an intelligent, meaningful, deep way that quite hasn't been said that way before.
Yeah.
It's harder than you think. When it's done really well, that's what's special about it.
Yeah.
So
And that's what certain teams of people. There's a friend of mine. He's out in California. When we get together, he'll have a lot of song ideas. It's like a compliment, and that's what it's really dangerous because we'll hang out for like a week and not hardly sleep and write songs, and we come up with some great stuff, But it's fun, and a lot of it is like that. It's like, meaningful. We compliment each other, but it's a challenging way
right.
to say, like, okay, well, this has been said before, but how can we say it?
Right. And that's a big part of the beauty of music, it's like trying to find new ways to, not rhyme you and blue and all that. And sometimes you do, but, it's just, it's finding new clever ways. And, just when you think you can't find another way to write a song about heartache or something, somebody will come up with a great new different twist and you're like, oh, wow. So just, it's just the
What
best.
is that?
That's the best, right.
It's cool stuff. So we talking about gumbo in Louisiana. What's your favorite dish?
Favorite dish, period? Or favorite gumbo? I mean, gumbo, I know this is sacrilege to say in Louisiana. I didn't get the seafood gene. My whole family did. I do the basics. I mean, I like shrimp and crawfish and, basic, fish and stuff. But, given the option of a meat versus a seafood dish, I go with meat 9.9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, favorite, I love a turkey and sausage gumbo. Favorite dish, man, that's so hard. I tend to go with, and we grew up in Gonzales area, which is a jambalaya
capital of the world.
Jambalaya is my favorite. Brown jambalaya.
Yeah.
I'm not partial to the red tomato. No, leave the red out. Brown jambalaya.
That's a French New Orleans thing.
Right. Yeah. Tends to be more I guess a Creole type thing. Right. Thing, yeah. And I can't eat that. I've had some that was good and edible, but by and large, the brown jambalaya followed close by like a good rice and gravy, roast rice and gravy.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And then the basics of course, pizza, good pizza, burger or something like that. But yeah, jambalaya and rice and gravy, that's the top, man, for me.
Oh, it's funny to talk about a lot of stuff.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Gotta have fried chicken.
Oh, what?
Well, we're not gonna give them any advertisement, but
unless someone wants to sponsor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we could use some of those.
Certainly.
By the way, go to Patreon and search for Louisiana Entertainment Experience on Patreon. Sign up, be a member. You can make a one-time donation, or you can become a member on Patreon. You'll get a free T-shirt if you do. And help us out. If you like what we do, keep it going. And support us there. You also go to our website, laentx.com, and sign up there for a list. We're going to have a lot of cool things on there. Coming up in another episode, I'm going to actually display the website and show some people how to log in if you want to connect with people, other musicians, other players. If you're musicians looking for players, there's a section of the website that you can go and you can make a post there and leave your information and other people can see it. We will moderate comments. Watch what you say. It is a family-friendly PG-13 show, as some of our comedians on here have said. But all that being said, any other shows you think of coming up close to dates you can?
I'd have to look at my calendar. I know, like I said, we're right around Mardi Gras time, so I know I said the end of the month, Golden Nugget Casino. We're pretty regular out there. I do an acoustic once a month on a Monday, Tuesday out there. Rhett Glindmeyer. I think they bill it as Rhett Anthony down there. It's so weird because when I came, when I was trying to have a stage name back in the 90s, and I went by my middle name because Glindmeyer, it's just, to me, it's not as complicated as a Kraszewski or something like that. That's got a bunch of silent C's and Z's and whatever not in it. But it was confusing to a lot of people, and club owners didn't want to put that big long name on their billboard or marquee, so I just went by Rhett Anthony. And then having gone and done that, and then not long after I started going by that, Rhett Akins came out, which was really close to it, so that kind of hosed me a little bit. But nonetheless, having kind of gone there and come back full circle, I'm just, I go by Rhett. If you want to call me Rhett Anthony, it's great, but Rhett Glindmeyer, is what I'm doing, and either or. But then, doing a Golden Nugget Casino, doing that solo by myself one Monday, Tuesday a month. The full band plays there. Sugar Shaker again. Would love to come play for you if you need a band for anything.
You have a website or contact
I believe it's Sugar Shaker NOLA, and is the website. I think we have a demo Sugar Shaker NOLA on YouTube if you want to go check out. We did like a little
email address, phone number.
They can catch you. You can check out called Chuck Credo at the William Credo Agency in New Orleans handles our bookings, and I think it's the email is info@William William Credo Credo agency.com.
Now, what about they want you to come do a solo gig?
Me solo, because can I get my number?
Yeah.
Area code 225-715-2490.
Call it.
The 225 Baton Rouge. You can call me direct. I'm on social media, Rhett Anthony Glindmeyer, Glindmeyer on Facebook, Rhett Anthony 7 on Instagram. And I don't do Twitter because I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't. And Snapchat, I don't get it all, so I'm not even on there. I tried it for a minute, just no clue. That's too old school or something. But anyway,
you're too old, man.
Right, I am. I'm too old.
That's for young people.
But they can get in touch with me through there. And
cool.
I do that as well. Availability permitting.
Or leave a post on our page. Comment on this video on YouTube. Facebook. You can. We'll put you in contact with Rhett if you're interested. It was great talking to you.
You too, my man. Good to see you, brother.
We're gonna follow out with another song by Rhett. Until next time, y'all give a hoot and a holler to Cookin and Collar. Have a great day.
This is Rhett Glindmeyer. Visit with us on Louisiana Entertainment Experience.
This crazy life, you only get so many chances to swing for the fences, make a difference, leave your mark. There's no knowing what 5 cards you'll be handed. Sometimes it's diamonds, sometimes spades, and sometimes hearts. When destiny comes calling and you hear the doorbell ring, leave it go wide open so it doesn't have to knock. Trust your gut, don't let your brain do all the thinking. 'Cause if you don't, somebody else might get your shot. So wait on it, pray on it, set that course and stay on it. Chances are your chance will come along. Then just go with it, flow with it, ride that wave and roll with it. You just might end up where you belong. The clock is always ticking and the countdown's already started. So don't waste a minute second guessing what's in store. The road less traveled is the path of broken hearted, but it's the only way to find out who you are. So wait on it, pray on it, set that that course and stay on it. Chances are your chance will come along. Then just go with it, flow with it, ride that wave and roll with it. You just might end up where you belong. Yeah, it's a crazy little life filled up with choices. The ones you get, the ones you don't, and the ones you never get. But the worst one made is hearing and ignoring all the voices, begging you to listen to the soul that longs to live. So wait on it, pray on it, set that course and stay on it. Chances are your chance will come along. Then just go with it, flow with it, ride that wave and roll with it. You just might end up where you belong. Oh, where you belong. Where you belong. This crazy life, you only get so many chances.